4, 3, 2. Welcome back, everybody. This is The Aaron J. Show, aka The Aaron J. Podcast. This is episode 17. We were on a bit of a hiatus. Didn't really have anything of real importance to discuss as a solo. Like I said, I would have liked to have waited till I had another person to partner up with on these, but such is life. So yeah, I didn't have really anything to talk about that was quote unquote on my heart. So there was nothing for me to discuss until now. So let's hop right into it. Of course, well, like everybody in the world is talking about Disney Plus. Disney Plus is an app that dropped last Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot to take the day off of work like I was supposed to. They had some site issues at first, which is common for anything that comes out and then 10 million people try to subscribe to it at the same time. So there was some slight site issues as far as logins and set up your profiles. Different profile pictures weren't available. Certain shows were out of order. Certain shows weren't fully available. I know, for example, I tried to go watch season 4 of The Simpsons, and that wasn't on there. Season 4, of course, is my favorite season for that one person that may have asked. And that wasn't on there. Now it is. Gargoyles wasn't available to watch the first day or the first couple hours. Now it is. DuckTales, so on and so forth. They are missing some Marvel movies, but that's only because they're still contractually obligated to Netflix and Starz with those particular titles. I think one of them, for example, is, I want to say Black Panther. I don't know whether they've added it or not since this morning, but Black Panther was one of them, and both of the Spider-Man movies, which I didn't expect a new Spider-Man movie to be on there, given that it just came on digital download a month, like 3 weeks ago. So those should be on there shortly, but there's so much more stuff on there to watch content-wise that you really don't miss them. Like you're not like, oh no, damn it, blow Black Panther. Because you got Gargoyles, Darkwing Duck, DuckTales. The Jeff Goldblum show is amazing. Of course, the Imagineering show is wonderful. It's the Imagineering show is about different Disney projects. The Imagineers are engineers. Walt Disney named them Imagineers. Obviously, Mickey Mouse reference with the ears. Imagineers are engineers that deal strictly with imagination. So, like Epcot, the entire design of Disneyland, the Haunted Mansion, stuff like that. Matterhorn, those are Imagineer projects. The Hall of Presidents, those are Imagineer projects. They cover all this stuff in the first 2 episodes. What I've noticed they're doing is what Netflix said they were going to do with their shows, which is release them once a week or twice a week. I know last week we got 2 Mandalorian. Mandalorian, of course, is just a awesome show by Jon Favreau. That's about a Mandalorian bounty hunter. It takes place 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi. So the universe is in disarray and stuff like that. So it's really dope. It's really, really a great show. I really suggest you check it out. I don't want to get too far into it because I want to get the spoilers. But there's 2 episodes so far, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. They appear to be releasing them 2 a week. Because I know the Chapter 8, which is the last episode, airs the first week of December. So I would imagine there are 2 episodes a week. It's a character on there named Baby Yoda. We're just calling him, we the fans are just calling him Baby Yoda, because basically he's a baby version of the whatever creature Yoda is, whatever his kind is. He's 50 years old, but he's still an infant. Like he's not an infant, like a toddler. So like about 4 or 5 years old, human years. So I put him in a toddler age, but he's 50 years old in, as far as time goes. Which is, we're displaying why Yoda was 900 when he died, because they age a lot slower, obviously. And okay, I want to get into it. So I will come back to that. We'll put a pin in that. But Disney Plus, like I said, awesome app. Obviously, a lot of their older movies come with warnings before them because of some cultural sensitivity, which I figured that was going to happen. So Peter Pan has one before it because of the Native American scene. Dumbo, obviously, because of the crows. Fantasia, I think, has one because of the scene with the Pegasus, I forgot the name of that mythological creature. Centaurs? I want to say centaurs. Yeah, part human, part horse. Centaurs. Yeah, because minotaurs are the other way around. Yeah, centaurs. So they had a nudity thing with that, but and a couple other movies have disclaimers before them that were the older movies. So like Pinocchio, because kids were smoking and drinking in it. So they didn't edit them, which is awesome. They didn't edit them. They just put disclaimers before it, basically saying, we know at the time this was socially acceptable, but it's not now. But, take the movies for what they're worth. Basically telling everybody, pull your pants up, pull your skirt down, it'll be okay. Your kids can watch these and they'll be okay. My generation is awesome. So yeah, I would check it out definitely. Definitely, if you got kids, check it out. Introduce them to it. It's worth it. It's $6.99 a month, which, come on, $6.99 for an unlimited amount of entertainment. It really, are you going to hem and haw about that? I don't think so. You can get you can get a bundle with Hulu and ESPN Plus, but I just got the regular $6.99 a month one. But like I said, check it out. A lot of great shows in there, like Gargoyles. Sigh. Gargoyles is just amazing. I love it. Check it out. Check it out. Let me know what you think. So we're gonna slightly pivot to a more serious conversation, which is if you have kids, what's a good amount of time for you to introduce your children to your new boo? So if, like, for example, let's take me for example. When would be a good time? What would I think a good time would be? I would have to say, if I know that me and the female are going to be more, if it's more than just sex. I think a lot of people, and I don't think I know because I've seen it, rush to introduce people to their children prematurely. Like, if it's just sex, that's different. But I wouldn't go and introduce my kids to everybody you're laying with, especially if it's a daughter. Just for that's obvious. It goes without saying because of the way it looks to her that it's okay to sleep around and stuff like that. Excuse me, which isn't to say you're sleeping around, but that's how it looks. That's the perception of it. I definitely wouldn't, if I knew it was just a sex thing, I wouldn't introduce her at all. I'm very protective of my children. I don't like random people around them, especially people who could possibly teach them something ignorant or ghetto or stupid. I try to limit, like I said, the individuals who would give them bad influences around. I try to keep bad influences away from them. I want to be the worst influence in my kid's life. Excuse me, which isn't really that bad of an influence. I mean, I got my quirks, but whatever. So I would say once you figure out what you want to, if it's just sex, that's different. But I've seen a lot of people, mainly women, who can't go without going without. They can't go without a penis in their life, so they have to have something around. I've seen a lot of people, especially in recent history, just break up with some, like the baby mama, baby dad situation didn't work out. The relationship didn't work. So you guys split. Usually whoever finds somebody first, I've seen the other person rush to go get somebody just to show the other person, like, haha, I've got someone too. Where it's like, okay, just have sex with them, but don't don't put too much into it. Because when it doesn't work, your kids go, especially if the kids get attached. Like, and that's not good. You don't want your kids getting attached to somebody and they're just temporary. You obviously do what you're going to do, but I wouldn't introduce my kids. I wouldn't do it. Especially given my current predicament. I definitely wouldn't do it. I'm okay with being alone. I'm okay with not having my kids meet everybody, every Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's not necessary to me. But that's just my opinion on that. That's going to be a question where I'm actually going to put on the website when I go and update it later. When is a good time for that? I know from my standpoint, it's never. Not until I know for sure I'm going to marry this individual or it's going to that level. But I wouldn't, not just somebody I'm randomly having sex with. There's too many crazy people around, man. I've seen too many news stories about, the mom's new boyfriend was sexually molesting the kids or abusing the kids or killing the kids. And the mama knew they was doing stuff, but she couldn't let him, God forbid, go without dick in your life. I'm trying to get through this without cussing, but that had to go out. God forbid she goes without penis, for over a month. that old that old song and dance. But I've definitely seen a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of crazy people around, and I don't want outside influences, anywhere near my children. But that's me. I'm partially crazy. But that was just something a question I wanted to pose to you guys, and I honestly think no, that wasn't it. It was one more thing. See, this is why I should write these down. My cell phone is my cell phone is wrecked, y'all. I got an iPhone X, and it got 2 lines on it. Then it had the ghost screen, which for those of you who don't know what that is, ghost screening is when your phone randomly opens apps, which is not good. You can't make phone calls because it's constantly, the screen thinks that it's constantly having pressure applied to it. So it's constantly pushing buttons. I can't make phone. It's a whole spiel. Thank God for my iPad. But that sounded so bougie and first world problemish, but it's irritating. Like, I know it's a first world problem, but it's actually a problem to me, so therefore it's irritating. The Disney Plus, obviously get it. When should you introduce somebody to your children? What is your happiness worth to you? I had a recent conversation with someone who shall remain nameless, and she was telling me how miserable she was at her job. She says her job gives her benefits, takes care of her schooling, tuition reimbursement to a certain extent. She makes a good amount of money, and she's miserable. Has issues at work constantly, issues with her boss constantly, demeaned constantly. So I posed this question. Well, actually, I told this person, to be perfectly honest and blunt, I told this person to quit their job and shut the fuck up about it. But I informed them that I went through a recent situation, not to harp on that again, but I went through a situation where I had to determine, is something financially worth it to be miserable? How much is your happiness worth to you? Pause, take a sip of juice. How much is your happiness worth to you? At what point is it not even financially worth it to come home miserable, mentally wore down, physically wore down, spiritually wore down, and dreading work the next day, but your bills paid? Like, is it worth that much to pay bills? Is that what you're living for, to pay bills? Again, for those people who listen to the cast, I've discussed this at length before, where I think people are so used to being, I gotta pay bills, must pay bills, gotta work to pay bills, work to pay bills. It's like this beehive attitude, where it's like, no, you're not just meant to work and pay bills. You're meant to live and experience life and impart knowledge to others and change things and, make the world a better place and make the world more different than when you left it. Not just sit up here and pay bills to make rich people richer. Like, that's not what life was designed for. I don't think. I don't know. I'm an idiot, but I don't think we're just here to pay bills. But this individual said that she, was miserable inside. I just point blank told her, which after a certain point, especially when I'm sleepy, I get really cranky. So I just flat out said, shut the F up about it and quit or don't. Like, shit or get off the toilet. Because what is your happiness worth to you? I can't make you make that decision. You have to decide, okay, is it worth this for me to come home miserable, to my kids miserable? I'm going off on them. I'm pissing at everybody around me. Nobody wants to be around me because I'm pissy. When people see you coming, they're like, oh, here she come. Is it worth all that to just be able to say, oh, I can afford to get my hair done once a week and nails done once a week and my bills are paid up? Well, yeah, but you're miserable. I'm trying to stop cussing so much on these. But you're miserable. Like, you're not happy. So, is it worth it? Like, to have your tuition somewhat taken care of? Like, is it really worth all that? I don't think so. I mean, in my opinion, it's not. I don't think it is. And you got to really come to a point in your life where you got to realize what you're here for. Are you here to just pay bills? If you are, cool. There are people who, sorry to say it, aren't remarkable and are just meant to exist. That sounds mean, but that's the truth. Some people aren't meant. Somebody once said, someone has to be the garbage man. I remember when I was a kid in school on career day, everybody wanted to be an engineer. That was the whole big thing when I was a kid. Everybody wanted to be a doctor. Everybody wanted to be a lawyer. Everybody wanted to be a cop. Blah, 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 blah. Nobody wanted to be the garbage man. well, somebody has to be the garbage man. The way the society is set up, someone has to be the cog. Like, for society to work properly in the way we've built it, you got to have cogs. Some people are just meant to be cogs in the machine. Some people aren't. So you got to decide, what are you? And that goes into self-worth. What is your self-worth? What is more important? Is it worth it to you to be able to say, I got my degree, because they paid for my tuition, so I got my piece of paper on the wall, and you're miserable. You're beaten down. You look old. You look tired. You look old, tired, and beat down. Like an old rug in the face, Is it worth it? You got the struggle face. Is it really worth it at that point? You're prematurely gray. You're 32, but you look like you're 42. But your bill's paid. Is it really worth all that? I don't think it is. It wasn't to me. I left the situation I was in. Haven't looked back. Was it easy? Was it an easy decision? No. But I had to decide what was more important to me. And being able to be a dad when I got home, mentally stable, somewhat mentally stable. I'm kind of off, but whatever. Mentally stable, emotionally stable, and not all over the place. And it's just, what is your happiness worth to you? That's also another question that's going to be on the website, aapicmedia.com. Check it out. But yeah, it just, I informed this individual very bluntly to either take a shit or get out the toilet, because I'm really tired of hearing about it, because it's like, you're smarter than that. And if you don't see that, you're worth more to the world than just paying bills. If you don't see that, then there's nothing really I can do for you. You have to find your own self-worth. I know my self-worth. Some would say I'm too aware of my self-worth, but what else? I'm not gonna be miserable. Like right now, my job, I like it, but the second it gets to the point where I don't like it no more and it's becoming a strain on my outside of work life, then it's got to go. Period. If you're not helping me grow, if you're not helping me be a different Aaron than I was yesterday, then you got to get out of here. That goes for people too, and that's what we call a segue. So when is it over? When is a relationship over? When should you just say, you know what, this ain't gonna work? I've tried. This person doesn't realize what they mean to me, or vice versa. I gotta go. When should you leave? At what point should you say to yourself, I gotta get out of here? This isn't cracking. This isn't what it is. This isn't the move. I gotta go. Like, when does that happen? And have you not left because you feel like you'll hurt that person? I'll let that sit for a second. I don't, speaking personally, and like I've told you this, I've told you guys this once, I've told you 1,000 times. You'll never hear, profanity alert, you'll never hear bullshit come out my mouth that I haven't either experienced, seen firsthand, or I trust the individual who went through it enough to regurgitate it. I recently was in a situation, not to go too in-depth into it, because that's just, for the sake of this podcast, I recently went through a situation where I decided, okay, I want to make this situation work. Nothing else out there is really worth it, like that. It's just sex. It's just lust at that point. This is where I need to be. This is the situation. I'm willing to invest. Now, the situation I want to invest in was no longer available. Which is to say, I drove down the street, saw a house that was for sale, was like, meh. Then got to the corner, decided I wanted the house, came back around, and for sale sign was gone. That basically sums up what happened. So I had to check myself and say, hey, you didn't make it easy. You fucked up several times. This person wasn't going to stay around forever, A. B, you messed up, Chief. You didn't do right, and now that you want to do right, you expect a person to, oh Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? And I'm creeping outside of balconies and shit. You didn't do right. You being me. I talk to myself like that in my brain all the time. You didn't do right, Chief. You didn't do what you're supposed to do. You did what you're supposed to do for your responsibilities, without just flat out giving what I'm saying away. I'm gonna try to be as vague as possible. You did what you're supposed to do for your responsibilities, above and beyond. Nobody can take that away from you. relationship-wise, though, you whiffed it. And I could really use a defense of my mom had passed, my dad had passed, my family was going through issues. I was miserable at work. I'm not miserable now at work. I know what I want to do in life, podcast, entertainment, media, all the whole shebang. I'm driven now. I want to do this and that. But it was too little too late. It was too much too late. Like, I decided all this stuff and figured everything out. And, of course, in typical Jenkins luck and typical Aaron J fashion, the deal was no longer on the table. So I screwed the pooch. So I'm going to probably go into my 40s, a dad, and that's it. And that's fine. I made that bet. But when do you think it's over? Like, when have you noticed in the past that it was over? When was it the situation? When did you realize, and I'm babbling because I had a lot of sugar before I got on the podcast. When did you realize it's over? When did you realize it's time to throw in the white flag? I tried, we tried, they tried, it's over. But when has that been for you? I just want to know, just a random question. When did you realize it was over? I think I realized it was over when we had started to both intentionally throw shots at each other or do shit to hurt the other person, and it wasn't necessarily beneficial to the situation. Like, we would just to retaliate. Retaliation for the sake of retaliation. And you can't live like that. You can't raise kids in a household like that. You can't coexist like that if you're always trying to one up the other person. Oh, you hurt me, so I gotta hurt you. Well, you hurt me back, so I gotta hurt you worse. It becomes like this nuclear, it's almost like a nuclear war, to where, like, you threw a nuke, so I threw a nuke, then they threw a hydrogen bomb, no, I threw 2 hydrogen bombs. So it gets to the point where it's like, okay, that's it. That's just one person needs to walk away and be the bigger person and let it go. Pull a Elsa, let it go. Shout out to Disney Plus. But that was just my only question. I would two of my questions. When is it okay to introduce a boo to your kids, and when is it over? And how much is it happiness worth to you? 3 questions. But that's my thing about it. You make your own demons in this world, and you often don't have anybody to blame but yourself. And you gotta take self-ownership. take self-inventory. Take responsibility for your own actions. You did it. Excuse me. You weren't concerned about your future, being married when you was out here, flirting with everybody. So, referring to myself, of course. So don't be concerned now. But, and do I really want to get married, if I'm being honest? Probably not. Honestly, I think the idea of having somebody who's not my children or a family member that legitimately cares about me is something I like. Having somebody that I can commune with, and then I don't have to even say anything, they just know. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like, I probably watched too many Disney movies growing up, and it didn't help it. But I'm romantic at heart. Like, I like the idea of being in love with somebody. It is something I would want, but I think I let that boat go. I let that boat sail on by. I think I stood at a bus stop and kept waving buses away. Like, it'll be another one in 15 minutes. And then, like, it was a bus strike, and, like, no more buses are coming. I think that's the point I'm at right now is I'm just going to start walking home. Because there's no more buses. Excuse me. There's no more buses coming. I'll hail the cab. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm too much of a flake to get married, I think. Like, I'll get tired of it. Like, I'm not tired of my podcast. I love my podcast. I love doing that. So I couldn't imagine getting tired of that. But, like, my job, I could imagine myself, like, one day being like, okay, enough of security, I'm out of here. Like, I see that happening with myself because that's how I am. But I don't know. If I met the right, I don't know, man. I don't know, you guys. Probably if I met the right person. But who's to say that already didn't happen? I didn't screw the pooch on that one. I think I have met my wife twice. I think I'm supposed to marry 2 people who both are going to remain nameless. Both of which, with 3 people. The one I thought I was going to get married to, and that didn't at all pan out. And the other 2 would be the people who I was in relationships with at separate times, and it didn't fan out. And both instances were my fault. One slightly more than the other one, because my life as far as family was stable then. My mom was alive. My dad was alive somewhere, God only knows. So that was that situation. And the more recent situation was just me at zero, me wrecked. And I just couldn't emotionally handle the world. So I lashed out and struck out when I was, when it was unnecessary. And you get life happens. I'm not gonna sit up here and do the old woe was me routine. I knew what I was doing. On a certain level, you know what you're doing. You should have just ended it and walked away, and then hopefully came back to after the fact once you fix yourself. But when you don't fix yourself and you just go through the motions, you're not gonna be able to sustain a relationship that way. That doesn't work. Like, strong I am, but not that strong. So, little life lessons. I think I'm okay with going into my 40s. Not even I wouldn't even say a bachelor. Like, it just sounds whatever. Like, as a dad, you're not a bachelor anymore. You're a dad, for Christ's sakes. Like, that's it. That's your identity, is your father. That's not, you're a parent. Not a bachelor anymore. Bachelor are for, people that don't have kids. So I'm a dad. It is what it is, I got my podcast. I got you guys. I got my Disney Plus. I got my VG games. I think I got my medication. I think I'll be okay. But no, I digressed off my point. When do you know it's over? When if you've been in a relationship in the past and you're like, yep, this is over the ups. This is over with. But it is what it is. I've done it to myself, so I'm not going to sit up here and act like I didn't. But like I said, check out the website. We're back. I'm updating the website tonight. We're going to continue doing our 2 weeks. Hopefully the next time I'll have somebody on here with me, so I'm just not talking to myself, which I'm kind of used to. Growing up as the only child and all. But yeah, definitely check out Disney Plus. Check out the site adpinkmedia.com. Check out our YouTube page, aboogie83. I'm going to start sectioning these off a little bit to give people a little taste and not have to listen to the whole podcast to find one area and stuff like that. So that'll be happening tonight once I get done editing this down and putting it together and whatnot. And that's really it. You guys take care. God bless. The world is a crazy, crazy place, and we're just all trying to make it through. God bless.